So yeah, it's all this stuff going on. It's just got me thinking, like they say. Like I remember, anytime I lost my temper, growing up, I was labelled as a psycho. But that's because the general information going around, and then the scientists, they came to the conclusion that, autistic people, they were like getting all their needs met, were still autistic, but they were a lot less aggressive. Meaning basically like the PTSD and the CPTSD, all this type of thing. And that can come from how society as a whole treats you, right? Because kids are like, oh, you're different, and they take it to a whole other level. When you grow up, you got to be more smarter about it. And then there's the mature adults who can accept people who are different. Yeah, and so I thought that there was a whole ton of narcissists out here, because I thought like everyone that was drinking lots of alcohol and was abusive, and people who were always stab you in the back, people who set you up, people who don't want you to succeed in life, thought they were all narcissists. But then I remember as a child they were going on about the same about psychopaths, so I don't know. But a toxic person is a toxic person. If anyone is displaying any of these things that they're talking about in the channels, like the gaslighting and the love bombing. Now with the love bombing, it's autistic people and ADHD people can get so excited when they get a new friend that they just let heart out in there. You know what I mean? Like, because they might not have much luck with friends, so they might become your friend and they might become overzealous. And they say it's love bombing because over time that zealousness drops, but it's like, nah. I used to still be those people's friends, just like that whole, wow, I've got a friend, and then like any spare minute of the day you're like thinking, not all spare minutes, but you'll find time, like a couple of hours each day or something, you're thinking about what to do with your mates. And they might be busy, right? And then other times they're not busy, and you are. And then there's the other times it's like you just, okay, and then you end up doing all these things, right? And it's like you put the big effort in, so it's like you're trying to make it impressive. Like one time's the movies, right? It might be movies and a bushwalk, and then the next one you're like restaurant and bushwalk, or going for a bike ride and that, and like, yeah, let's do all this stuff rather than just chill out, because you're trying to show your appreciation for your friend, but you're also you just don't want them to leave you like everyone else does. So I haven't been like that in a number of years, but if people want to meet up somewhere, I'm like, yeah, let's go. It really has got me thinking, because it turns out all these people that were doing all these things, other people said, oh, there's nothing wrong with them, like they don't have narcissism, all this type of thing. And so I'm just, and then I remember my memories about what they were saying about the whole psychopath thing, and then now they come to the conclusion that that's not the case, and that we were far more likely, is like, I'm not like that anymore, haven't been like that for quite a while, but much more likely to be manipulated. So it's really got me thinking, because apparently my parents are normal, now, apparently they're normal, but you see, I didn't even know I had ADD, until I started questioning it about a year ago. Now, the difference between ADHD and ADD is the one I have, ADD, is attention deficit disorder. Well, I hate saying the word disorder because we think differently and we learn differently, so it's very hard for us to maintain our focus on when we're trying to learn the conventional way. Translation, my best way of learning is monkey see, monkey do. I see, I do. And I research and I try to come up with new ideas and things like that. Now, they get sensory overwhelmed too, and we can get hyper fixated on a topic to the point where there was times when I was young and I was at a mate's house that I may have known them for a couple of years or something. They could go, this is ADD on their behalf too, because they'll be like going working on the go-karts, but I'll have a book or something and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to read a bit, or I'm just going to study this topic online just for a little bit. I'll come see you out in the shed where you're doing your cuts. That's just me telling, or, PlayStation. But the thing is then 4 hours would go by. And then either I'll go out or they'll come out and be like, oh, dude, but this was like after we'd known each other for like a couple of years. We didn't do this straight away, obviously, but people can take that as, say, look, they're deliberately ignoring you. They're not putting in the same amount of effort as they did in the beginning because of the love bombing. Well, that wasn't the intentions. It's never the intentions. And it's just like, they're busy doing their thing. You go over to visit them and you used to always hang out, and now it's like you go to visit them or they come to visit you and they're doing their thing. And then you get distracted by one of your hobbies and 2 to 4 hours go by and then, and then you get back into, then you hang out for a couple more hours where you're actually talking and hanging out. But, people can feel rejected because, and I say, man, it's like, the first, year and a half, he wouldn't just go and do his hobbies whilst I was visiting or hanging out. And then it was like, and after a year and a half, he might go away for like an hour or something, or half an hour. And by the time I got to 2 hours, 2 years, it's like half the time when we went to go hang out, he'd get sidetracked with his hobbies. And 4 hours later, I'd be like, oh, sorry. And then, and then we'll start the conversation and we'll be hanging out for the next 2 hours after that. And people can think, they were doing it on purpose when in reality we just got sidetracked. Yep. So now they're saying, actually people with ADD and actually people with autism have higher rates of narcissism than the general public. Yeah. So really does make me think about my parents, because apparently according to everyone else they're normal, and there's been people who have had similar conversations to me as they would when I was back living with them, and it was like they're treating me the same way. And these were like supervisors and stuff in previous employment. It took like a couple of years, a 1 year here in Wellington, and like 2 to 3 years since going 2 years since going no contact, for things to change in that regard, because people thought they could just talk to me any old kind of way because I was different. makes me